that I really think are crucial for building better brands are, first, building brands that are effective, right? We just spoke about delivering results. That's the key thing for CMOs to really drive growth. So better brands are effective. Second thing, better brands, they are consistent, because we need to think long-term, and we need to make sure that those brands will keep delivering over and over again, and consistency is hard to achieve. Third thing, and probably the most important one, is to establish that deep emotional connection with people. Because in the end, it's all about people, and better brands are brands people love.
There's so much to learn, and if I look at what AB InBev have done, I mean, if I were still in the business, I'd be talking to my teams about, let's have a good look at this, because it's creativity through process, through focusing on growth, and never forgetting that it's all about people and delivering. And I like that balance of people and tech. So focus on have you got the best people around you? Have you got the best partners externally? Have you got the right processes? And do you know what the metrics are of success? And then you'll be fine. When I was a young marketer, when I started in an agency actually back in the 80s, awful lot of the marketing people I met were extraordinarily arrogant, appeared to be, seemed to know it all. And my strong piece of advice is don't be a know-it-all, be a learn-it-all.
So a better brand, I love the word better. So better needs to be better for the consumer and better for the world. Otherwise, I'm sorry, it doesn't count. Better that's only better for the consumer means it's bad for future consumers. And better that's only better for the world means that consumers aren't going to want to buy it. So better means it's got to be a brand that isn't just communicated better, but where the actual brand, product, service itself is better for the world and better for the consumer. I've just talked a lot about benefits and the fact we need social, emotional, and functional benefits for the consumer from trying to live sustainably. That's a lot of work for us, but it's possible.
In my view, the key to building better brands is making sure that you focus on the customer. When you know how the customer, what they're looking for, what they want, what they need, how they want, where they are, how they want to engage with you, and how they want to have a conversation with you, that to me is going to help build a better brand. When you have that focus, and it's less about, you need to focus on that first, and that will drive revenue, that will drive profitability, and that will drive brand equity.
I think the key to building better brands requires us understanding what makes for strong brands. The literature tells us that strong brands sort of build on top of each other, almost like a pyramid. That the bottom of the pyramid is awareness, high awareness. People know who you are, great, but that's like table stakes. But one level higher than that is perceived quality. I know the brand, they have good quality products. The other one on top of that is leadership. Oh, I know them, they have good products, they're leaders in the category. On top of that is I trust them also. One step higher than that is I have associations. I think about these things that are fun and evoke memories and emotion within me. But the most powerful brands, they transcend all those things and operate at the ideological level. They operate at the level in which they have a point of view about the world. Those brands are the strongest brands. And for us to get there, we have to think about how do we see the world, for what are we convicted? And that conviction transcends the category, transcends the value propositions, and they exist at a level in which people use the brand to signify their own identity.
Well, two things. The first would be benevolence, and it's thinking about everything from the point of view of the consumer and putting them first, their needs first, and always being the brand that shows them how we're there to help them in their life. So benevolence would be one, and the other one is a B as well, and that's bold. Be bold.
If anything, I think the craft of building good brands is going to have a renaissance in the next 5 to 10 years. And that renaissance is driven by AI. Because if you don't have good, precise definitions of the brand, if you don't have detailed articulations of a brand that you can feed into an AI to say, this is what my brand looks like, feels like, speaks like, then you can't build AIs that can actually represent your brand or understand your brand. And so, in many ways, I think there's, it's a very optimistic time or very interesting time to be a marketer again, because it requires us to hone our craft again, to be more sophisticated, more intelligent. Because frankly, the things that AI do well, humans are not great at, right? Humans are quite inefficient, they're not very consistent, they can't process large amounts of data. So use machines for those things, but then use humans for the things that we are great at.
Look, we're in a moment where there's a lot of polarization in the world. There's, culture wars are certainly a thing, and I think that brands necessarily have a role to play in that to an extent, as long as it's authentic, it's sincere, it can be sustainable for them, because people pay attention to brands. They want to know where they stand on different issues. But I do think that brands need to go in clear-eyed around the fact that they can get swept up in the culture battles, and that can have some real negative and tangible impact on the bottom line. So it's not a space that brands should go into lightly or quickly. Arguably, they should really be thoughtful about it, think about what their purpose is, what their core target market really wants and needs from them, because it can't be all things to everybody, and that's not going to change. But I do think that we are in a moment where I've seen some impact, certainly on creative big swings, right? You know, marketers are probably feeling a little bit paralyzed in figuring out, how do I go out there and how do I sort of put my brand out and market in a way that gets attention, gets noticed, and do something big. Likewise, I think agencies, especially creative agencies, that's their bread and butter, is doing dramatic, awesome, big swing campaigns, have felt a little bit, at odds against these marketers who probably feel like they're not yet in this zone of taking those big swings and making those risks.
There's been lots of conversation around Gen AI. However, Gen AI is not going to be enough to build better brands. Gen AI is going to be accessible to all the brands. So if you only go with technology, you're going to be having a vanilla type strategy. What you need is you need to be thinking about what will make your brand truly stand out. So embrace Gen AI, but do keep in mind that you need a unique positioning to your brand and you need to be standing out in the market. That's what marketing is all about.